Hello, my friends, and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. It's always good to know who's who and what is what. Why? Because you understand deeper who could be in charge of you and who can pull some strings. I will show you in this video a few names, a few individuals who have a great influence, great not as fantastic, great as big influence of the United States' foreign policy. And if you want to connect any dots, it's up to you. I do not connect any dots, okay? So I'm going to talk about Trump's lawyer, supposedly to be appointed as dealing with peace process in Ukraine. And then I'm going to discuss who this guy is. I'm going to make some connections with some congresswoman and with the Illinois governor. Then I'm going to show you how and who we are fighting for, and that's not the United States of America. Then we're going to find out that Trump supposedly wants to purge the US military. He's not going to be able. They will purge him before he can even try. But I have two articles on that. So let's start with the first article. Doesn't come as a surprise to me. Sputnik. Who is Boris Epstein or Epshteyn? Trump's lawyer reportedly floated as Ukraine peace negotiator. Sorry for stereotyping, but by the name right here, I knew who he is. In this article, they don't tell us who he is, like they don't tell us who George Soros is. They tell us George Soros, is a Hungarian-born philanthropist. That's all you need to know. They don't tell you anything else. So the same with this Epstein. I knew exactly who he was, especially when in the same article they confirmed to me. So this is again, he's going to be the negotiator for the United States of America, will be sent by Trump to negotiate with the European Putin in the name of the Zelensky of Ukraine, with Blinken, Secretary of State of the United States of America. Do you understand? Don't connect any points. So let me show you what gave it away. First, the name. And then I read here. A Russian-American, Epstein, was born in Moscow in 1982. You're not going to find anything else what he really is. It's okay, I found it, right? Easy. Boris Epstein. And we find out early life and education, always a revealing thing. Epstein was born in 1981 in Moscow, Soviet Union, the son of Anna Shulkina and Alexander Epstein. His families are Russian Jews. In 1993, he immigrated as a refugee. Based on what? With his family in the US, right? People from former Soviet Union, Romania and others, they know how he immigrated over there. And I know. All right, so this is he. This is like the United States of America, if you remember Trump's first administration, appointed his son-in-law, Mr. Jared Kushner, he's a Jew, as a senior president advisor to the Middle East. So it's like you would send me, let's say I'm an advisor of the president with the Europe or the Eastern Europe. And there's a war between, let's say, Hungary and Romania. And I was born in Romania. I'm a Romanian by genes, right? And I go over there, they send me over there to negotiate. Who do you think I'm going to negotiate for? For Hungary? For the United States of America? Or do you think I have an interest, being Romanian born, to go over there and help my people? So this guy, Epstein, is going to go over there and deal between Zelensky, in charge of Ukraine, and Putin. Putin is not his people. Putin is a European. All right, let's go to the next article. Here, Soros Son Celebrates reported deep strike permission to Ukraine. I covered this in an article, in a video earlier today. So this guy, who is the son of the Hungarian-born, he's Jewish, right? He celebrates that the Europeans will be allowed, Zelensky is in charge of the European nation of Ukraine, to strike another European nation, which is Russia, therefore destroying the Westerners again in a Third World War, as it happened twice. Just because they hate one another, they're just warlike. These Europeans are just no good, warlike. Remember, he celebrates that. Now we have Zelensky in charge of the European nation of Ukraine. Welcomes reported lifting of US restrictions on long-range weapons. All that will mean that the Europeans will nuke one another. Possibly they will get to that one. Putin said, if that will be a go-ahead, we're going to hit NATO, because NATO is directly participant. Israel is not part of NATO. Therefore, it's going to be outside of Russia's hit. Therefore, we're going to have the Europeans, baboons, and the Americans, and so on. Now, let's move to the next one. We got this guy in charge of the American foreign policy, Antony Blinken. Right there. You see him? He is another guy. He's another Zelensky Stein. Okay, no problem with that. Please do not connect any dots. All right. He's also a, all right, but he's in charge of our, you see right here, Pritzer, who has been only Holocaust survival. You got that hint? It's just a coincidence. So we have so far the new lawyer of Trump that will deal with peace between the Europeans and Zelensky Steins. Basically is going to negotiate to have the Europeans, I would say, destroy one another. Then we have Soros agreeing, celebrating it. Zelensky Stein, who is in charge of the European nation of Ukraine, is great news, because the Europeans would get at it again. Then we have the chief foreign minister with US foreign policy, one of, okay, back in business. And I'm not done, my baby doll, I'm not done. Here it is. We have Debbie Wasserman Schultz. Remember Debbie Wasserman Schultz? Okay, she's a another one, right? So this is nothing wrong with that. I'm just saying who's who, what's what. Born in Forest Hills to a Jewish family, she's the daughter, blah, 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 blah. But what did she do? Well, let me tell you what she did right here. I mean, you saw that picture? Now look at this picture. How about this, Madeleine Albright? How do you like that me now, baby doll? Imagine that in the, I don't know, like a dim light. Pooh! She looks like what, that guy in Star Wars, Jabba the Hutt. Remember that one? Okay. So what did she say? Congresswoman, she's a congresswoman, labels Trump's pick for Intel chief a Russian asset. You know who that is? You know who that is? Of course, that is our great Tulsi Gabbard. So most of the President-elect cabinet's choices are unqualified and dangerous. Democrat Debbie Wasserman Schultz has said. Why? Because you don't have Antony Blinken in charge. Why? Because you don't have Zelensky Stein in charge. Why? Because this guy doesn't have power over Russia. Why? Because this guy right here is about to be appointed by Trump. Trump will continue the Middle East, will receive orders, and will do. So this is this very unattractive woman. So Tulsi Gabbard, U.S. President-elect Donald Trump, pick for National Intelligence Director, is likely a Russian asset. You can't say that. You can't say that. I can't just go around and say this guy likely is, this said likely is. You know, that's half truth of a big lie. She's an expert on that one, I guess. Do you remember when first time I heard about this kind of, all right, Jabba the Hutt right here? It was when she allegedly passed some to, passed or did something with the DNC, with when it was the first campaign with Bernie Sanders and with Hillary Clinton. Remember that one? She helped her in the DNC and fucked the Jewish Bernie Sanders. Remember? She was the one. She was rigging the Democrats' selection process of their candidate to the presidency to run against Trump. Remember that one? I do remember that one. Now, let's move on. We got more, baby doll. Oh, look who's got power. Israel puts pressure on G20 states ahead of Rio summit. How is this little country of Israel, about 10 million people, somewhere in the desert of the Middle East, have so much pressure on this globe? How is that possible? Because they do not control anybody. No, they're not. Therefore, how can you put pressure? How can you be so influential? Just because you may have about 200 warheads, and warheads, nuclear warheads? Is that what it is? What is it? Because you're somehow good with money, they say? That's stereotyping. You can't say that. All right? So let's see what this guy is claiming. My point here is, how are you going to put pressure? You're just a small little fucking country over there. Well, you know, Israeli Foreign Minister Gideon Saar has criticized the draft of the planned final declaration of the upcoming G20 summit in Brazil, addressing the conflict in Gaza Strip, calling it unbalanced and biased. it can't be biased, and it can be unbiased, and can be unbalanced. Unbalanced. Why? If I am the guy who's beating up someone else real bad with everything I got, the other guy is like, how can I balance that? That guy beats the shit of the other guy. Oh, it's unbalanced. But it is unbalanced. It is unbalanced. So this is, they are going to put pressure. Who do you think are going to put pressure on whom? On Americans in the first place and other European weasels. Now let's see, what are the Americans fighting for? Peace and so on, democracy. CNN politics, right? Video from US Air Force show a swarm of Iranian drones targeting Israel. That's their problem. Now, CNN National Security Correspondent. Remember, this is a big name. National Security Correspondent. How old do you think this National Security Correspondent is? 55? 62? No, she's 32. So Natasha Bertrand speaks to the US pilots. So a 32-year-old speaks with, I don't know, like 20-year-olds that defended Israel airspace from an Iranian attack in April. Pilots and ground crew recall the events and share video they shot of the night. So speaks to the US pilots that defended Israel airspace from Iranian attack in April. What if they would have been killed by Iran defending our ally in the Middle East? So who are they finding? And I'm going to show you who this person is. No, she's not a Stein, but enough for me to show you something else. Natasha Bertrand. She's 32 years old. Oh my God, London School of Economics. She must be very good. But this is what she did. She is an American journalist who is the Pentagon correspondent for CNN covering national security. At 32, she knows how to wash her ass. Anyway, here. She began her career in Business Insider as an intern, appointed as the political correspondent, mainly covering U.S. foreign policy. During the time, she also reported on Steele dossier, where she had no problem saying garbage, obviously. American journalist Eric Wemple criticized Bertrand and wrote that she gave undue credibility to the dossier. So she is out. Right? And then we're going to find out what she did right here. Bertrand and her team won an Emmy for their breaking news coverage of the Russian invasion of Ukraine. Do you know how she can get that one? She was promoted in April 2021 and 2023, as a correspondent for national security. So that 32-year-old is very important. She got an Emmy. Who do you think she works for? All right, let's move on. I got more. So you know who's who, what's what. Again, I'm going to use Mr. Pritzker. And remember, the Democrats are telling us that the billionaires, not the millionaires, the billionaires. Why? Because most of them are millionaires that they support. Therefore, they go to the billionaires. So this, another Stein from that area of Ukraine, area of where Ukraine is, not Ukraine, that area, he is a very big shot. And he's a Democrat. So you support billionaires now? Oh, because he's your billionaire, he's good? Like the imbecile Bill Gates and Cuban and other imbeciles? Or because they're our billionaires, we love them. If they're not our billionaires, oh, they should be taxed more somehow. But hey, ours going to be protected somehow. Governor J.B. Pritzker vows Illinois will boost sex changes after decisive Trump victory. So Illinois government, Pritzker pledged Saturday to keep his state open to transgender treatment. Well, the wrong treatment, you know what I mean. After the issue, particularly regarding minors, because the bone of partisan contention during the presidential election. The billionaire governor, whose family is deeply involved in the transgender movement. Why? It's not his people. Posted a tweet so on. This transgender awareness week, I want you to know that I see you and I have your back as governor. Illinois has enshrined protections for gender-affirming care to meet this movement, and because of you, you will have a home here always. Good. How about other people? No, you don't care about them? All right. Let's see who this Pritzker is and who is another Pritzker. Where are you, little baboon? Right there. Here it is. J.B. Pritzker. Obviously, he comes from a certain kind of group and was born in California, the son of a member of the Pritzker family, a Jewish family of Ukrainian descent. And we find out that he also has, right here, Other siblings are Antony Pritzker, the former USA Secretary of Commerce, Penny Pritzker. Oh, yeah, let's see who Penny Pritzker. Right here, there she is. Another multimillionaire. Pritzker family. Remember that one. So she is, right here, a wealthy and influential Jewish business family. Nothing wrong with that. I'm just naming names. So she was appointed, right, United States Secretary of Commerce, right, official. She will deal with the American business investment in Ukraine. She's going to be the Tsar. She's going to make the connection between Zelensky Stein and the American business. All right, just so you know who's who, what's what. Next one, let's see. Because this guy said, well, Trump appoints his cronies and friends, and yes, that's correct. The other side does it too. That tells you the level of the US democracy. Associated Press, how it works. Trump names fossil fuel executive Chris Wright as energy secretary, and he's a bad dude. Hey, wait, isn't Mr. Lloyd Austin the current Secretary of Defense, because we defend ourselves all the time? Isn't he a former board of director of Raytheon before he was appointed as a U.S. Defense Minister? Secretary? Yes, he was. Why is that? So whose interest do you think Lloyd Austin is protecting? Our or Raytheon's? I don't know. I'm just saying. So when you have this kind of executives over there and you're going to have the media, oh my God, see, you got the fox in charge of the chicken, the pox, pole, whatever it's called. That's how it is? Barn. I'm not saying that's right. I'm just saying they all do it, and that's not right overall. Here, let's see how Trump, either he gets purged or supposedly he's going to try to purge the people with the guns, which is the Pentagon. AOL, right here. All right. Trump transition team compiling list of current and former U.S. military officers for possible court-martial. So they try to court-martial from how they left Afghanistan. And the other one from Russia Today, Trump preparing Afghan, quote-unquote, treason charges for U.S. military, NBC. It's not going to happen. They say it. It's not going to happen. Why? The Pentagon is going to defend itself. And they got a lot of money. Trump has zero, maybe his personal BB gun. So no, there's no, they're going to say that way. Trump will be gone, if you know what I mean, before he even tries to. And even if he tries that, he's going to die in 4 years. The whole attempt. How do you think this guy's going to be audited or something? Like the Federal Reserve Bank, private bank that cannot be audited? Do you think this guy going to clean the FBI, CIA? He's going to appoint the directors, which are not his people in the first place. And they will not follow his directives. He's going to fire them, hire another one, and all the second and third echelon of these big institutions, how do you want to call them, they're just not going to follow orders. That's the way it is. Like you're in charge of an army that doesn't follow orders. That means you're not in charge. So no, it's not going to happen. If he's going to try that, this guy's going to... Do you think they're going to take care of their generals? Yeah, it's going to be probably a little infight in the Pentagon. My suspicion is that Trump wants to make sure that U.S. military will work for us or for him. I don't put together us and him, okay? But he wants to make sure that he's not going to be by those guys and Gaddafi style. The same, he's going to try to do the same thing with FBI and say that will be his people. If he's doing this for the Americans, that's great, but I don't think that's possible at this point like that. There are many other ways, but not like that. After Trump is gone, everybody's going to be put back in place. By the whom? By the other side. Well, my friends, here it is. Dangerous. But at least I gave you some names so you know who's celebrating our destruction and who are in charge of the foreign policy. Mr. Blinken, for instance. Mr. Pritzker is in Illinois pushing that on his people. No? And you got Penny Pritzker over there. And you got Soros, obviously. You got Zelensky Stein, obviously. You got Schultz, Wasserman Schultz over there. She tells us that the woman of color, Tulsi Gabbard, that the Democrats love, she's possibly, most likely a Russian asset. If I would claim that towards someone else, the minute I will be, I can be, charged, labeling people and libel and so on. But no, I won't say that. Why? I have no evidence. And you say, well, likely. Based on what? Bring your evidence. Schultz, she's not going to do it. Why? Because the media will cover for her. Because the media is too easy. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.